Hello, a very good evening. The Women in Computing of IEEE Computer Society Kerala chapter brings to you Meet the Scholar series. For our second episode, we have with us Miss Pritika Merrill, who is a Grace Hopper Celebration India Scholar 2018. Really honored to meet you and welcome to our event.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Neha. Thank you for inviting me to this event.
Okay. So in today's episode, we will be covering all about the GHCI scholarship. So before we begin, could you please tell us more about yourself and what you do currently?
Okay, Neha. So I graduated from St. Joseph's College of Engineering with a BTech in Computer Science. And currently, I'm working as a human resource executive, HR executive with HCL Technologies. That's what I'm up to currently.
Wow, that's nice to hear. So moving on to the agenda for today, can you tell us about how you applied for the GHCI scholarship and what was your inspiration to apply?
Okay, so I clearly remember the time when I applied for GHCI. I think we were all in the middle of an internship in Kozhikode when one of our friends mentioned about Rethink Foundation. Okay, at that point, Arya Murli was part of Rethink Foundation, and through her, a friend of mine came to know about the GHCI scholarship. So, a few of my friends were planning on applying for the same. So I googled about it, I read about it, and then I decided to apply. But we had a lot of help from, we got a lot of help from Rethink Foundation at that point of time. It really did help us, as in they took us through the different levels or the different steps that we have to go through the application and things like that. But the main thing that I feel, that was important while applying was that a lot of people came forward and they said that, um, ഇതൊക്കെ ഉടായിപ്പാട്, things like that. Like it's not worth your time because it is quite a lengthy process if you look into it. So you need to put in your time and effort to get the application filled. And I think that was the real struggle to get past, all that, all those people who were persuading me not to apply. So I think, yeah, that was the only factor that was keeping me behind. I had second thoughts. I don't know, Monday, or should I not? But finally, I decided to do it. Yeah.
Okay, so how is the application process? What all are the necessary steps and which part of the application form is the most important?
Okay, so personally, for me, I feel that the steps have changed in the years later on. So during my time, we did not have a video entry, but right now it's there. You can make a video recording and you can use that for your entry. But while I was applying, there were a few questions that you had to answer. Basic details were supposed to be given, like which year you're studying, what is your CGPA up until then, and things like that. The normal details. But then I think the most tricky part, the part where it decides if this person will get through or not, was the statement of purpose. There's an SOP that you have to write. So that's a part of a question, as in, why do you think you have to be part of GHCI? So I think that question really, took a few hours of my time for me, as well as for the other people who, applied along with me. We all, so it had to be a unique answer. No one person can have the same answer as the other person. So that's very specific in case of GHCI. They actually take the time. So Anita Borg Foundation, they actually take out the time to read through each application, and there are different evaluators. You are assigned 2 to 3 evaluators who will be going through your entire application. So the decision is not made by a single person. So I think the most trickiest part for me was that SOP, where you had to really convey why you had to be a part of GHCI.
Okay. So moving on to the next question. What all information should be provided for the application?
As I had mentioned, all the general details regarding your CGPA and what branch you're studying, your address details, things like that. And your SOP has to be included. Along with that, you have to give at least three references, three people who will be willing to refer you. You have to recommendation. These people, they have to send in a recommendation for you, so you have to mention those contact details as well within the application.
Okay, so since resume is an integral factor in submission, could you give us some tips on how to craft a good resume?
Okay, so SOP and resume, they're two different things. But since you asked, I'll talk about both the SOP and resume. Okay, so SOP is basically where you mention your statement of purpose, as in why do you want to be a part of GHCI. And I remember while I was writing my answer, I was trying to be as honest as I can. And I actually told them that, this might be my first exposure to see companies like, Bloomberg and all the first companies, the Googles, and you've never met such people, right? I've never met. I had not met anyone from Google at that point of time. No one from Facebook, no one from Bloomberg. So I actually mentioned that. I mentioned that I'm someone from a very rural part of Kerala. Uh, and for me, something like this would really make an impact. I would, at that point of time, I was heading an initiative within IEEE known as the Enlighten. That was for educating women. It was a more women centric, educating women who were not working, who did not have, education much above their bachelor's and things like that. We used to equip them with Excel knowledge and basic things we used to teach them so that they can tomorrow maybe work, maybe in a data entry job or something of that sort. So we used to teach them very basic things regarding the computer and towards the IT sector. So I mentioned about that. I talked about the initiative that was happening in my college and how I wanted to be a means by which I can reach out to the community and give back to the women community mainly, because GHCI is it is women centric, right? So I mentioned about that in my SOP, and I think that is one of the main reasons why I might have been selected. About the resume, as you had asked, the resume is also very important because now as an HR, I know that, I come across almost, say, if you come across 50 resumes of freshers, you would really do not know how to, distinguish one from the other. So each resume, it has to be unique, and you need to have factors that make that resume only yours. I think that's the most important part within the resume. As in, let me tell you. So someone say a person, person X goes to college, completes degree, has 8.6 CGPA, graduates. Another person gets into college, is a part of IEEE, is part of a boot camp, is part of, a lot of cultural activities, and it's someone who takes a lot of initiatives and graduates with, say, 7 CGPA. The chances of the one who got 7 CGPA to outshine the other one is higher in the market. So that's the point that I'm trying to make. It's very easy to fall in the crowd, as in every other resume is the same. So what you have to make sure is that how is your resume going to outshine the others, what is going to be different from others. But basically in a resume, the main things that have to be there is the projects that you've done, and definitely your curriculum details regarding your percentages and things like that. It has to be there while submitting it for GHCI.
Okay, so with that, we have submitted the application. And what happens after the application process?
Okay, so after we've applied, they actually trigger a link over to the people who we had asked for recommendations. Okay, so they have to log into a particular link and they have to submit their recommendations for us. So it is also dependent on the recommendation that the person who we have suggested that our entry is based on. That is also a very important thing. So for me, I had three people recommend for me. One of it was my HOD and another HOD of another department, and another very close teacher of mine also had recommended. So it has to be made sure that no one in your inner circle recommends you, no relatives, and no one who you have a blood bond with. That is one important thing. So after this happens, after the recommendations comes in, they actually take quite a while to announce the results. So I guess for us, they took about more than 4 to 5 weeks, is what I remember. I'm not sure. I have to check that again. But after that, only we received our results. So it took quite a bit of time.
Okay, so could you briefly tell us how getting this scholarship has made any change in your life or your career?
Okay. So let me tell you, GHCI scholarship is not like any of the other scholarships that, provides you an internship or things like that. It's actually a doorway to a career path that you can choose. So after getting GHCI scholarship, we went to the event at Bangalore, and I should tell you, it is till date one of the best things that has happened to me. Starting from it's funny when I talk about it right now, but the most important factor to me that strikes out now is the goodie collection. So we had to go through each stall. So basically, many companies, over 200, 300 companies, will place their stalls in this particular conference area. And they'll be asking us questions or giving us quizzes or giving us tasks to do. And once you complete it, you'll be given a particular goodies. Okay, you'll be given cute things and also very useful things. I got a lot of pen drives and things that I still use today. I still have it in my bag. I have a few pens that I got from GHCI, things like that. Okay, and I think that was the most fun part that I still remember. So in each stall, we submit our resume. We give our resume over there. You submit your CV, and then you move on to the next stall. So they check, they go through your CV, and if you fit their criteria, they call you for an interview. So how does this benefit a person is that your resume gets placed in almost all the top companies in the world right now. Yeah. So maybe you don't get called immediately, or maybe you don't get a call, say, the next immediate day, but definitely it will happen, and it has to happen at some point of time. For me, I have to tell you that my entry into my current company, it was through someone who referred me. A person who I met during GHCI had referred me into HCL. So I think that's how things work. Networking gradually helps you at some point. So the contacts that you make through GHCI, it's going to last you for a very long while. I'll tell you that, one of my most closest mentors has been someone who I had met through GHCI. He's an employee of Bloomberg, UK. So those people, they have a lot of exposure. So they have a lot of things to share. So at that point of time, it was about learning what others had to share and about their experiences and how I can widen my perspective. What I really wanted to do, these people have really helped me understand. So I think that was very important for me.
So, how long was the entire scholarship process starting from the application till the conference?
I think roughly about so we started applying around June, around that time, and we attended the conference in November, if I'm not wrong. So it was quite a lengthy process, as in after you get selected, also you have to wait a few months to go for the conference. So, but it's a nice time. You get to plan a lot. You make plans with friends. You decide where you want to go. So you get called for dinners. So I got called for the Microsoft dinner party, and such Adobe also hosted a dinner party. So you get to go for them. So you plan what to wear and things like that. It was a fun time. Yeah.
Okay. So there'll be many students watching this interview to apply for this scholarship. What will be your advice to them?
My only advice is do not listen to others. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and apply for that scholarship that you always want to apply, or for that one thing that everyone told you that you cannot get. Do not, listen to them. Do not give any heed. Go ahead and do it, and you'll definitely get what you're, aspiring for. It'll definitely happen. If not now, sooner it will. But don't stop trying. And just because someone else did not make it through does not mean that you should not. And another very important thing that I want to tell you is when you make moves to, reach a particular destination, or when you want to achieve something, people are going to call you opinionated. They are going to say that, um, why would she do this? I really would want to quote something someone told me. എന്തിനാ ഇത്ര ഓവറാക്കുന്നെ? Like, but that's, don't let those things, really bring you down. It should not bring you down. um, you should really go for what you feel like going, and even if you do not get it the first time, you'll definitely, your time will come around. I think that's what I want to tell it to you.
Okay, so that is an amazing piece of advice. So, thank you so much for being virtually there with us and for sharing your experience. Wishing you all the best for your future, and I'm sure this will be beneficial for everyone watching. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you, Neha. It was great being interviewed by you. You too have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you so much.